We have been focusing most of our efforts into evaluating why the trees are so small. And mostly we found that they grow less at the tree line than they do in the forest. They grow less in branch extension, in top growth, and then the question is, why do they grow less? What we can see is that there is a lot of tissue loss on those trees, which means that it has to grow a lot to compensate for it. But once they reach out of the blasting zone, the needles have a pretty good survival because the blowing snow is further down. The blasting of the snow on the stem can be pretty serious. This could also be, though, an animal that, like a moose or something, that would be rubbing in here. The needles are formed in the fall when the temperatures are warm and good, and so they produce a lot of needle primordia. And then when they start growing, they grow very slowly, and so they come out very close to one another. And they don't get a lot of carbohydrates, so they grow very short. So it's a very different structure from what you have down there. So we just label this so we can find this again. So each week we will come back to this tree, we will measure the growth of those branches and the top, and we will measure the diameter of the tree. We will measure photosynthesis and respiration of the branches.
How many inches?
1.113 inches.
We have found that the growth starts later at higher elevations. And so part of the difference in growth, less growth at higher elevations, is because they have simply a shorter season. We also found that the trees at the higher elevations grow slower when they're growing, except at the very end. All the trees stop growing at the same time. The first week in July, they stop growing. And that seems to be photoperiodically controlled, or maybe a combination of factors, but it seems to be photoperiodically controlled. Whereas the onset of the growth season is determined by temperature. And the end of the growing season, in turn, is determined by a combination of photoperiod and temperature.